Hello, everybody. Back here again for another Idiot's Guide to Recumbent Biking. And today's little trip is my first highway slash road trip, I guess. Decided to head out. I don't know, about 10 miles over to a little small town that I decided to go check on. As you can see, I'm just heading down the highway here. I I don't know. I decided it was time to finally get out of town and do my first little road trip. My buddies wanted me to try and go on a week or 2 week long bike ride camping trip. And I just don't see myself wanting to pedal 80 miles a day on average. It just doesn't really make much sense. But I thought I'd give it a try and head out and see what I can come up with. So, one of the things that I find is just riding alongside the highway on the white line and that. It's what law says we have the right to do, all that good stuff. But it still feels super creepy because when you're running or walking, you run into traffic, so you can see things coming. You can sometimes make eye contact with the drivers, that kind of stuff. But biking, you're supposed to follow the same, road pattern as you do with a car. So definitely wasn't really the most comfortable being out here when I first started. Like I said, it's first main time out on the highway was not necessarily the simplest thing in my mind. Playing little tricks on me and that stuff, but overall the ride went real well, I'd have to say, for me. There was one incident which when I see the car I'll point it out to you and stuff, that a woman was, I don't know, psychotic as all get out, it seems like, but that's to be expected, I guess, when you deal with I guess people in general. So definitely the one thing here, it was a beautiful day, one of our first really nice days this year. It was like upper 50s when I left, and I believe it like gets into like 63, I think 62, something like that, by the time I get back home and put the bike up. So this right here, also the thing that happens is the wind is blowing like crazy. It's, I don't know what the gusts were, I didn't look, but every flag I saw was just pinned out, and the trees are moving, and when you get trees without leaves on them shaking around and really losing it, you know the wind's got a lot of pressure. So definitely the downhills are much more fun than uphills. In town, I get a lot more of a wind block, so not as much to worry about there. Plus, you get a lot more stopping at stop signs, waiting for traffic, all that kind of stuff that I'm definitely not getting out here on the highway. So I find myself, even like on the downhills, I try and pedal my butt off because I want to have as much speed going up the next uphill. And right here at the bottom of this hill, I'm going to have to take a left, so I'm not pedaling as hard as I can. I'm probably doing, I'm guessing, about probably 15 mile an hour or so right here. Maybe 12, somewhere in that. I don't have a speedometer on it exactly. I make this corner, and right here I'm slowing it down to normal speed. Before we saw 800 times speed, and I wanted to slow this down to normal speed because I want you guys to feel the suffering that I felt going up this hill. You come out of that corner, so you're only doing probably 10 mile an hour at the most, so you don't get much of a run up this hill. And this hill is just, you can see it just goes up forever. And it's not the steepest hill I was on, but it's the longest hill I was on, and especially without having to run. Because a lot of times when there's a big hill, you're coming off a big downhill, and I end up hitting a maximum speed of like 33.9 mile an hour. So at some points I was really cooking right along, but then this was not one of them. So I've already downshifted into my lowest gear, my second setting front sprocket, and you can see I kind of even fell off the blacktop there a little bit. Just absolutely struggling. Part of my brain is telling me just get off your bike and push the damn thing up the hill. Just get off your bike and push up the hill. But I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And by now, I've already just shifted down into the lowest gear possible on the front sprocket. I'm probably in second or third gear in the rear sprocket. And I am just pedaling my butt off here. My feet are just spinning like crazy, and I swear I'm not going anywhere. So I'm probably, by this point, I've already shifted all the way down to fully into low gear. So my feet are just spinning around, probably 100, 125 cadence. I mean, my feet are going like crazy, but I'm not moving. So every once in a while, I'll shift up to the next gear, and it feels like I lunge forward and I really pick up a lot of speed, which is like probably another half mile an hour. But then it's too heavy, and the weight on the bike is just a pain in the butt. And recumbents are not big climbers anyway, because you can't stand up on it and really pump your body. So it's the same motion, feet out in front of you, and it's just one of those things that just, I haven't rode it enough and got the leg strength yet to really climb well. So this right here was the part of the ride I was dreading the most. Just absolutely sucks. I'm just literally just right now thinking how much I hate life, how I should not be doing this, how I should be off, push my bike and walking up the hill. But I just can't bring myself. I actually pull over here again off the side. Car went by. I don't know, they were driving like the 3 mile an hour behind me for almost half the hill. So I finally just pulled off side, let them go by, and there was only a couple cars coming down. But Could have been worse. They could have been blowing their horn at me and acting like an idiot, but thank goodness they weren't doing that. So, as you can see here, it looks like I'm at the top of the hill, but as you'll find out in another minute or so, I am nowhere near the top of this hill. This hill just keeps on going and going, and I actually thought about the fact it wasn't for unsafe with coming right over top of the hill, cars coming at me. I probably would have done that back and forth like they do mountain roads and kind of swerve back and forth to get a little more momentum up. But that's not something safe to do. Then you can't see at your mirrors behind you, all that good stuff. So this camera, as you can see, is mounted the handlebars, and I'm doing a lot of that just arm motions. The bike's just shaking back and forth because my feet are just spinning like crazy. I finally shift into a couple higher gears right here, get a little bit more momentum, but I'm still just hill climbing. It's just absolutely amazing. As flat as it looks, you can see it's not, because there's still a ridge up there. Anytime you see a horizon, that means you're climbing the hill. So definitely I'm just still just pedaling my butt off, swearing I'm going to never climb this hill again in my life. Shift up to another gear, finally start moving a little bit. I'm probably like in 6th gear right now, low side front. I finally shift back in a second. Now I'm back to 500 times speed. I'm glad you guys sat there and listened to me drone on for that 3 minutes and like 22 seconds. I think that hill took me to get up. It was the worst 3 minutes, 22 seconds of this entire ride. I mean, this part of the ride probably took me, I don't know, 35 minutes, I think, whatever is what it took me. So I would do the whole 35-minute ride over again as opposed to doing that hill one more time. So anyway, what you're going to see, I'm going to pull in a little town here called X-Line. There's a little general store. Just going to get off my bike, walk around a little bit. They got a little antique shop. Hit the bathroom and that, and then head back out, and I'll turn it back on and show you what I did for part 2. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a safe and wonderful day. Get out there and ride your bike.